Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is again, we're building our jig. We're going to be building our molds 1, 2, 3, and 4 in order to put that into our strong back. So let's do that. So what you're going to do is just really quickly, if you look at your lines drawing, this is where your first mold is going to go, your second mold, your third, and your fourth. If you notice, if you go down, you notice on the big boat, this is 2 feet 3 inches, 2 feet 2 feet 2 feet, and 1 foot 9 inches. So they change a little. They're not all the same. All right. So I just wanted to point that out. All right. So what you're going to need to create your molds is you're going to need this lines drawing. It has a CL and a red line. It looks like this. And what you're going to do is you are going to take this piece of paper. You're also going to take, you should all have a blue piece of paper in your kit. I already cut out the mold, but it should be a full blue piece of paper in your kit. You're going to put it behind your lines drawing. And then you're going to take a piece of balsa wood and you're going to place it behind this area here. So it should kind of look something like this. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to build, again, mold 1. And mold 1, when you're done, it's going to look something like this. And I know I'm going to just check to see if my mold 1 is done well, because I'm going to put it in the space that says mold 1. So I'm going to show you how to find that. So if you look at your lines drawing, there's number 1 and an arrow. And then the line is a little bit pink. And if you just go down line 1, you're going to get to the bottom where you have a corner. Not the one with the red line. It's under the load water line. About 1/4 of a centimeter, and then you're going to go all the way until you see this red line, and this is the center line here. Okay, so we're going to be building our mold here. So the first step we need to do is we need to, at the 2-inch mark, and you should do this with a pencil just in case you make a mistake. At the 2-inch mark, you are going to put a dot on the center line. So here is my ruler. I'm going to this, so there is a cross point here, intersection with the load water line and the center line. I'm going to put my ruler there, and I'm going to go up 2 inches, and I'm going to put a dot here. So again, I'm going to go from my load water line to my center line, put my ruler at 0, go up 2 inches, and then put a dot. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a parallel line with this load water line all the way across. So you should have something that looks like this. This is the first line that you are going to create. Next, I'm going to extend my mold 1 line, my mold 2 line, my mold 4 line, and my mold 3 line. So because we're doing our mold 1, I'm going to line it up, and then until it intersects with the line that I just created. So I'm going to extend it like that. I'm also going to, I don't do that for mold 2, just to do it all one time. And then I'm going to do it for mold 4 and mold 3. And so you should have something that looks like this. Now I'm going to place some push pins into my lines. So one of the things I want to let you know is that you're going to actually be folding on this line. So we're actually going to be folding on this line. So you have to make sure that when you put your push pins in, there's actually some extra paper on this side. And when you're doing lines 3 and 4, you're going to be folding on that line, and you have to make sure there's paper on that side. So that was a mistake that I made when I first started, that I didn't have some extra paper. So I'm going to now place some push pins into my line sheet. So let me grab my box, and in my box you should have some push pins. I'm going to take out 5 push pins. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so the first push pin, remember I'm going to be pushing between the lines drawing, my blue sheet, and my balsa wood. So my first push pin is going to go right at that 2-inch mark on the center load line. And that's not in my balsa wood, so I'm gonna bring it down a little bit. Right at that 2-inch mark. And I don't have to push it all the way through. I just really want to make sure it pushes through that blue paper. Then my second push pin is going to, I like to do my second one right on that one, because that helps me to remember I'm building mold 1. Then my third push pin, I'm going to go up where the center water line, where I extended it, and where I extended my line 1. And so I have 3 here. My fourth push pin, this is where you have to be really careful. You have to follow this line all the way down. Remember, you're not going to the red load water line, but you're going to go about 1/8 of a centimeter or 1/4 of a centimeter. And there is the corner here. And so you can see like a little angle. And then I'm going to go all the way across, following that pink line to where the center line would be. And I'm going to put my pin here. And what this is going to do, this is going to create where I'm going to cut and fold my lines. So now I'm going to take these out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to remove the very top paper. And then I should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 push pin marks. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to connect my marks. So that one was going to the center line. And this one, just like this. And this one was right below my load water line. Okay, and what I like to do is I like to just kind of make a little X or something, just so I know this is where I'm going to fold my paper. Then you're going to take your scissors and you're going to cut the 3 lines that you created. And don't go too far over, kind of go right to that dot with your pin dot. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold this. So you might even want to create a line just so you can fold it. You know you're going to fold directly on that line. But I know this is what I'm going to fold it against. So I'm going to fold. And you can see I folded, I'm really precise, I folded right on that line. And now all I'm going to do is I'm going to trace against the edges, and I'm going to cut my other side out. So it should be a mirror image. And you can literally use the other side to fold. Remember, don't cut. And now I'm going to cut my top. And I'm going to label this mold 1. M-O-U-L-D, number 1. And I'm going to take my lines drawing again, and I'm literally going to see if it fits. It should fit within this line. So I put my corner in, and it is an exact fit. So I've completed mold 1, and I'm going to do the same process for mold 2, 3, and 4. So let's look at mold 2 really quickly. Again, I'm going to place a piece of paper in between. Remember, because I'm folding this way, I want to make sure I have blue paper on this side. And I'm going to put my pins, one at that intersection of the center water line and that 2-inch mark, another at my 2, so I know I'm creating mold 2. My third pin is going to go at the intersection of that extension of the 2. My fourth push pin, I'm going to follow my 2 all the way down. Remember, I'm passing my load water line, and there is a corner. And then my fourth one, I'm going to follow until I get into the center line again. I have 5 pins in. I take my 5 pins out. Now I can see this is the top, this is the side and the bottom. I'm going to take my ruler, I'm going to connect them. Remember, I'm trying to be as precise as possible. I want my lines nice and straight. I like to put a little X so I know that's my folding line. If I decide to connect this line, you don't have to do this step. Now I'm going to cut out these 3, 1, 2, 3. I'm not going to cut out the part that has the X. I'm going to gently fold. Trace. And cut out again. I'm going to label this mold number 2. And then I'm going to do the same thing for, so now I have mold 1 and mold number 2. You're going to notice that they're 2 different sizes, because remember, this is going to, if you look at our jig, this is going to be about that size if that crossbar spall wasn't there. And this should be what mold 2 size is going to look like, because we're going to use these to trace out the wood. All right, let's do mold 3 and 4 really quickly. So again, remember I said you want to make sure if this is your folding line, you want to make sure you have paper on that side. So I'm going to turn my paper, and I know I'm going to have some paper on this side, and then I'm going to put my balsa wood, my blue paper, and my lines drawing. Same thing, I'm going to start at my center line where that 2-inch mark extension was. My second pin is going to go directly, we'll do mold 3 next, so it'll go right at the dot at mold 3. Then I'm going to extend it out all the way until it intersects with the line that we created at the 2-inch mark. That's my third. Now I'm just going to follow that pink line all the way down below the load water line to the corner, and then bring it all the way back to that center line here. And take the pins out. And now I'm creating my lines on the other side. And this is, again, this is mold 3. This is the part I'm going to fold. I'm going to be very careful to cut. And now I'm folding it to the left-hand side. I'm going to trace. And if you have a steady hand, you really don't even need to trace. You can just follow it and cut along. And remember, you want to make sure you're not cutting the other side. And now you have mold number 3. When you are done, when you do the final mold, you should have something that looks like this. Mold 1, mold 2, mold 3, and if you follow the same process for mold 4 will look just like that.